Hey, good morning. Welcome to the JeepSolid garage. So today I'm going to walk you through the process of replacing the ball joints on my Project 92 Wrangler here. And now this thing, it steers, you don't really steer it down the road, you more kind of corral it or guide it down the road. It is just all over the place. All of the steering and suspension parts are going to need to be replaced, but we're going to do the ball joints today. And this video is sponsored by Engine Tech. I exclusively use their parts on my AMC 4.0 rebuild, and I was very happy with the quality and performance. They carry everything from complete rebuild kits, pistons, timing sets, crankshafts, just everything you'll need for your engine. Their website's linked in the description below. And of course, anytime you're working on your vehicle, disconnect your battery, mine's missing right now, and get your wheels chalked. Now let's jack it up, get it on some jack stands, and remove the wheel. Alright, next let's remove the brake caliper, and we're going to hang that out of the way, being real careful that we're not putting any strain on the brake line here. That's why we're going to hang it. And there's two brake caliper mounting bolts on the back side here. When you're trying to compress that piston on your caliper there a little bit, what you don't want to do is you don't want to put anything on the face of the rotor here. So if you put it in between there where the vents are, you're okay. You just don't want to put it on the face of the rotor. And with that, our rotor should come off. If I can do it with one hand. Nope. Now on the back side of your hub here, you have three, there's one, two, and a third one on the other side. Three hub retaining bolts, and they are 13 millimeter, and here they are on the back side, one right there, one up here, and then one on the other side. And you really have to have a 12-point socket for those guys. 13 millimeter 12-point socket. If you don't have one, you can't really use these 6-point sockets, so go find yourself a 12-point socket. And let's go along and break these loose and back them out a ways. Had to break out some of my half-inch stuff because I don't want to break my wrench. Let's see, I'll be pulling up on this to back it out. I'm going to go ahead and remove this tie rod here, get this cotter pin out of the way, take the castle nut off, because this is just kind of in my way a little bit of removing the hub, and this has to come off anyways to get it off the steering knuckle. So let's just take it off now. Wonder if I had to replace this tie rod. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is that in need of replacement? And with that, our hub and inner axle shaft there should slide out. And when you're pulling your axle shaft out, you want to be sure it just comes out nice and straight. You have a seal on the inside there. You don't want to be ramming into that, banging on it, so just slide it out nice and straight, holding it up off the knuckle there, keeping it clean as you come out as best you can. There we go. Okay, next we're going to remove the nut off of our upper ball joint and lower ball joint. And those two nuts hold your steering knuckle here to your axle. Look at all this play I have here. Watch this gap right here where my steering knuckle to this C-arm on my axle. Watch this. See all that play? Yeah, not good. That's why we're replacing these guys. So let's remove both cotter pins and both nuts. And I'm getting the best fit here with a 7/8 on top and 1 1/8 on this big guy down here. That would be tightening. The upper one here, it had that up and down play, but it's pretty tight, not bad. Look at this bottom one. That is not supposed to be like that. That's on the verge of failure. Or it is failed, but it's on the verge of breaking loose. So now we're going to use our ball joint press kit to press the old ball joints out of there. So we're going to take off this rubber cover over the stem of the ball joint there. And now what we're going to do is we're going to grab this guy here, which is big enough to, let me zoom in on this. So it fits nicely over the top of the ball joint there. This is the receiver. So we're going to push it out this way into the receiver. The top of this guy here fits nicely into the top of the vise. So there's a little recess there that it fits down into. So that guy goes there. And this guy here is the driving end, and it actually has a little recess there that fits nicely down into our C-clamp there. So push that guy on there, get our C-clamp on, and screw this guy down. Now I've got a socket on top here, my big old breaker bar, and we will start cranking down on this guy and break it loose and watch it push out into the receiver here. This driver was just a little too big, one of these recesses here, just a little too big to fit in there. So I'm not going to be able to use that, having to use this adapter instead to push it the rest of the way out, but it'll get it done. And there's our top ball joint. So it was pretty worn out, had that up and down movement, but otherwise it's pretty tight. Let's go ahead and take this bottom guy out now. That guy's just shot. So same process, we're gonna, that receiver's a little too big. And on the lower ball joint here, this guy with the little notch out here on the window, it just barely fits on there. Just enough of a notch cut out there, and then we're gonna use this guy up here to drive the ball joint out down that way. And be sure to keep an eye out on some of your ball joints. You could have a snap ring around here holding it in place. This one does not, but just something to keep an eye out for. If there's a snap ring there, you gotta remove it. So this receiver is gonna fit down here, Use this guy to drive it out from the top. But the way this clamp is set up, a lot of guys you'll see, they'll feed this through here, put this guy here, which works fine. But this guy doesn't have anywhere to adapt onto that. So I need to come at it from the other side. So I really need my clamp like this. There's nothing wrong with doing it this way if your kit will let you do that. But this guy, I have to have the driving force on the bottom. It's just the way this kit fits together nicely. So I'm coming at it this way. So there we go, I gotta come at it like that, which that'll work just fine. Popped it loose. Just watching to make sure everything stays lined up. There's our bad ball joint. Look at that guy. So that's removal of the ball joints. So let's pick it up with my next video right up here on how to install the new ball joints. And that video will also be linked in the description below. Thank you guys for watching.